We're nearly at that time of year again where you start to think about pike fishing. Summer is here, it's roasting hot. You can't really go pike fishing because it's roasting hot, but that's not an excuse that you can't come into your man cave and do a bit of tinkering, getting your stuff ready for the winter, shall we say. Now, I want to talk lures. I quite like rubber lures. I'm going to move you down a bit. I quite like rubber lures. Fox makes some great ones. Weston makes some great ones. These are actually really good by Weston. And Savage Gear makes some good ones. However, Savage Gear line throws, there's a problem. This is a brand new, never been opened line through trout. Brand new. The problem is the wire. The wire is shocking. Now the wire itself is just not up to standard. And the hooks, well, the hooks, they're not that good either. And this is brand new out of the packet, and that's not even twisted on properly. That's not even twisted on properly. So, what we do, dead simple, we take away the wire leader because the wire leader is shit. We also take away the hooks because they tend to be shit as well. So you get a pair of thin snips or clippers. I'll go to my tool roll. Get a pair of cutters. And we snip the wire. Bin this responsibly. Don't use it for anything else. Don't use it for hook traces. Don't use it for shit. Throw it in the bin. Same with your trebles and all your rest of stuff. Chuck it in the bin because it's terrible. I almost swore there. So there we have our line through trout. Now this is a silver one. So how are we going to rig this? Well, I'm going to get some bits and pieces put together and I'll show you how I rig it. Let's start with the basic things we need. Solid titanium leader. 100 pound in brick and strain. I like AFW. You all know I like AFW, so we're using AFW. Crimping pliers, for obvious reasons. Shrink tube, doesn't matter if it's green or if it's red or whatever colour it is, shrink tube. Crimps, assorted crimps, and hooks. Now you can take these and crush the barbs down like I do, or you can fish with them barbed. Up to yourself. Purely your decision. What we're going to replicate is one of my other homemade harnesses for lures. Basically we have a length of wire crimped to a split ring. That is to a little clip that pulls it in. These are both the little clips that get pulled in, so this is what it looks like normally. You know, you have your hooks. This is, again, it's the same wires as what's on that there. The only difference is where this has got like a screw that goes through the nose. With this one, we're going to basically have the titanium leader running straight up through the nose. It's not difficult. It's not a hard job. So let's get stuck into it. First thing you got to be careful with this solid leader is when you're cutting it. And I found no matter how you cut it, you always end up with a little sharp bit, which is fucking horrible. And it always gets stuck in your finger. So be careful. We're going to make the first bit that slides into your lure first. Something nice and simple. Now, you've got your wire leader. You want to cut you don't have to go mad with the trace, but you want your trace for these lures to be, you know, as long as you would for any sort of other lure. You don't want it to be teeny tiny. That's 18 inches of wire. I have my fridge here kind of measured. So what we're going to do, I did have a swivel. Where's it gone? We'll just do it with another swivel. £130 swivel, Cox and roll, ball bearing swivel, pretty good gear. These ones. So we're going to get your crimp. I like these AFW double barreled crimps. You can use something different if you want. I like these. So what we do is we have our crimp, then our swivel, then we fold it back, so it looks something like that. Here's where the magic comes in. I like to take this tag end and fold it back so it goes through the crimp for a third time. Now this can be quite a fiddly, pain in the dick process. So we might have to kind of cut to a technical difficulties screen. No, it went through. Jesus Christ, it went through. Result. Where's my crimps? Right. So it'll look roughly like that there. Crimp pliers. Put it into the crimp pliers. Come on, fit in the crimp pliers. Remember, pain in the dick, it's popped out. Pain in the dick, pain in the dick. Pain in the dick. Right. So there we go. That is it before I've crimped it. Now you want to crimp it. So put it into the crimp. And squeeze appropriately. Now I've dropped stuff here, so hold on. These are good as well. These are knot pullers, just to make sure that your crimp's tight enough. Before you put shrink tubing on, inspect the crimp. See if it's loose, see if it's split, see if it's cracked. Sometimes, as I found out once, I bought crimps in bulk from America. Mustard crimps. Every single fucking one of them split when I crimped it. So it was a lesson. Don't use mustard crimps. I've never used them since. Yeah, that's good. So you basically have the crimp going right the way through, the wire going through, back, and then looped and pushed through. So it's the crimp's binding on it like 3 times. Then you take your bit of shrink tubing. This is just basic shit, green. This is actually from Corda. Doesn't matter. Doesn't make a difference. Slide on your shrink tubing. You'll then hold a lighter underneath it to kind of shrink it down or boil it in a kettle or whatever you want to do. Then take this bit and thread it through your fish. Dead easy, because this is the bit you'll tie onto your main line. This is the bit that will hold your hooks. Thread it on to your fish. Like so. So this will now be crimped in the same fashion as that there, but it'll be crimped to a split ring. And possibly a hook in the split ring. Depending how much of a pain in the tits it is. So I'm going to cut you off now. And I'm going to attach a crimp, attach shrink tubing, the same as this was before. The shrink tubing is basically going to butt up against the little plastic tube in here. And yeah, so let me just stop you there.
One eternity later.
Okay, we have it all shrink tubed, right? Now you can see the little hole in there. Now when you pull it tight, the end of the shrink tube buffers up against the little hole. The shrink tube is the buffer, not the crimp. So when it's been dragged along, it'll be dragged along like that there. Now I like the fact that the shrink tube is pushing the swivel or the split ring down. That bit's important. I like my, when the fish is hooked, I kind of want the bait, this big fucking thing, to be away from the fish. So that this end has the hooks, and this bit can flap around. Now, I made a little 2-inch, 2.5-inch link out the same material, the same way, exact same way, and I attached the split ring to that. So now I'm going to attach hooks to split rings and have this all wound up together. I'll show you that now. Hold on, are you ready? These hooks are BKK Spears. Pretty sharp. Don't get them in your fingers. Now before I fish with this, I'll squeeze the barbs down. I do that on all my lures. I squeeze the barbs down on them. It just makes unhooking them easier. It also they're not barbless. Don't let anyone tell you squeezing the barb makes it a barbless hook. All squeezing the barb down does is instead of having a barb that sticks out like that, you have a little knuckle. And that little knuckle's enough to hold it in the fish's mouth when it's thrashing around. Now, as you can see, there's plenty of swinging action. And I've tied this one up, you know. I have this will kick out a little bit. Just a little bit. And this is just nicked into the head section of the bait. So when the pike smashes it, it just pops out. And this one's just held in place with one of those little little pins, it's just pushed in there. But that'll happily flip and flop and do its thing, and hopefully the pike will get smashed into it. I know just the river that I'm going to be using this on. So yeah, Savage Gear. Your line through lures, we really like them. What we don't like is the wire you use or the hooks, because it's pish. So do us a favour. Either sell them with no wire in them or make the wire better. That's just my thoughts. Also, what's happening in the world of pike angling. I'm going to throw up a picture now, or at the end of this. The man, the myth, the legend that is Mr. Dave Horton is coming to Northern Ireland. Dave's got some truly epic fish over the years. He's a published author. He's a good guy. He's coming to do a talk to the Northern Irish Pike Angling Club of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Now this event just isn't for club members. This event is for everybody. So if you're out there and you fancy coming along, maybe meeting some of the guys in the PAC for Northern Ireland, the guys like, Mel and Justy and all those guys. Good guys, put a lot of effort in trying to get the plight of our our favourite species kind of higher up the food chain, and putting the so that the powers that be know they just can't walk on us anymore. I'm looking at you, Trout guys. I'm looking at you. But it should be a good day. It should be a good event. The prices and everything will be released in the picture below, but I'll put a description in the link below. I'm getting excited for the pike fishing, which is strange because as I stand this, the fucking sweat is pinging out of me because it is roasting. Too warm for pike fishing, by the way. But doing this sort of nonsense now means that I don't have to do it on the bank, or I don't have to do it the night before I go fishing, which is good. Which is good. So, until next time, troops, tight lines.